If HBO's Chernobyl was a series with a new disaster every season, what event would you like to see covered?
Challenger. Halifax explosion.
Bhopal. It injured a lot of people, and the series of mistakes that caused it to occur is insane. Edit. This was a chemical leak that killed 2,500 people in the immediate aftermath and thousands more long-term. 558,125 injuries were recorded due to it.
Craig Mazin's Twitter was inundated for a while with Indians asking him to do a series on Bhopal.
The Kishtim disaster. Only Chernobyl and Fukushima have ranked as worse incidents, but Kishtim affected 4x as many people. Because of the secrecy surrounding the facility, nobody was told anything about it until a week later, when soldiers suddenly showed up and started slaughtering all the livestock and burning everything, not telling all the people why they were being rounded up and evacuated. They said it was a special disease. Some other people weren't evacuated for a year or more.
Centralia, Pennsylvania. It's a ghost town because the coal that runs under the city is on fire. It has been for many years. Edit. Thank you for the precious metals. Also, if you are intrigued by Centralia, look up the Times Beach, Mo disaster that also required the town to be evacuated.
Triangle Shirtwaist Fire in 1911.
Tiananmen Square Massacre.
In 1998, when The Undertaker threw mankind off hell in a cell, and plummeted 16 feet through an announcer's table.
BP oil spill.
The Costa Concordia. The mixture of incredibly brave and competent people versus the idiot captain, and the spectacular nature the disaster itself would make for some damn incredible television. I'd love to see lots of different perspectives on it.
On that note, I recommend watching the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary on the Hillsborough Stadium disaster. Edit. I see a lot of Liverpool fans commenting on this. Those of you who read soccer might recognize me as a Napolista, but I have nothing but sympathy for Merseyside regarding one of the darkest days in football history. Non sarai mai sola, you'll never walk alone.
Game of Thrones Season 8.
I would like the 1917 Canadian blast, URL, the largest man-made explosion until nuclear bombs in 1945, not so much for the blast but for the rebuilding and dealing with it. What did a fictional character say that stuck with you?
You can't keep blaming yourself. Just blame yourself once and move on. Homer Simpson. One of the wisest pieces of advice I've ever heard.
Today me will live in the moment unless it's unpleasant, in which case me will eat a cookie. Cookie Monster. Edit. I've waken up to all these upvotes and rewards. Thank you so much and love you all, and CM. Edit 2. Also, now that I've inspired a CM religion, my life is done. Removed.
How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Winnie the Pooh, AA Milne. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days, before you've actually left them. Andrew Bernard, aka the Nard Dog.
Sucking at something is the first step, being sorta good at something. Jake the Dog.
Many that live deserve death. And some that die deserve life. Can you give it to them? Then do not be too eager to deal out death in judgment. Gandalf, Lord of the Rings.
When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. God on Futurama.
Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something. Wesley in The Princess Bride. Edit. Wow, thanks for the gold, kind strangers. It means so much to me that my favorite movie helped me get it, haha, and I love seeing all the other fans here. Smiley face.
Never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.
Confidence. It's the food of the wise man but the liquor of the fool. Vikram. The Office.
Pride is not the opposite of shame, but its source. True humility is the only antidote to shame. Uncle Iroh, Avatar, The Last Airbender. You know, it's at times like this, when I'm trapped in an airlock with a man from Betelgeuse, and about to die of asphyxiation in deep space, that I really wish I'd listened to what my mother told me when I was young. Why, what did she tell you? I don't know, I didn't listen. Arthur Dent.
What is the most important step a man can take? Always the next step. Dalina: edit, from Oathbringer, Book 3 of the Stormlight Archive, written by Brandon Sanderson.
Not everything is a lesson. Sometimes, you just fail. Dwight K. Schrute edit, 6 years on Reddit, and a Dwight quote is what pops my gold cherry. Appropriate.
What movie fucked you up mentally?
I watched Blair Witch in my early teens with no concept of what documentary or found footage movie was. In my mind it was all real. The last scene was golden.
Good Will Hunting. The part where Robin Williams explains to Matt Damon that although he knows almost everything, he will never know what it's like to look in the eyes of your best friend as he's dying in war, or what it's like to lose a wife to cancer. Return to Oz, the Disney sequel to The Wizard of Oz. This movie is targeted at children. This movie is fucked up. It starts with Dorothy getting electroshocks in a Bedlam asylum because no one believe in her stories about Oz. Then she return to Oz, and then she encounter truly horrific monsters like the Wheelers, fuck the Wheelers, and the big bad is switching heads like you switch dresses and all the heads are alive. And how, my god, how is this movie targeted at children?
Fire in the Sky. I saw this when I was 8 or 9. I walked into my aunt's room during the operating scene. Anything and everything that dealt with aliens freaked me out. When Unsolved Mysteries and the X-Files theme songs came on, I would lose my mind and become really scared.
Saving Private Ryan. As a child, my parents would only allow me to watch Disney movies, and so when everyone was out of the house one night, since they were at my cousin's house was right next door, so they usually always left me alone for a bit. I turned on the TV and Saving Private Ryan came on, thought it was still a Disney movie and proceeded to watch it. Jesus fuck, my tiny brain wasn't ready for that trauma. Edit. I read almost every one of the comments and want to thank all of you for sharing your experience and sharing your own stories. Very interesting to see other people's views on stuff like this.
What's eating Gilbert Grape? I grew up in a very similar situation, like, spookily similar, just a lot less good looking. My mother was overweight and I just knew she was gonna die in our old house like that. Scared the shit out of me.
Requiem for a Dream. Still get bothered by some of the scenes in that.
Watership Down. My parents thought it's just a cartoon movie, surely fits for an 7-year-old. I still don't want to watch the movie again, and I'm turning 29 next Sunday.